Hello, fifth grade. I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to go over the answers for the assignment with you through video so that you can see the correct way to answer each question. Okay, so number one, Mrs. Williams is organizing her office supplies. There are 3 open boxes of paper clips in her desk drawer. Each box has 7/8 of the paper clips remaining. So these are the 3 boxes, 7/8 remaining. How many boxes of paper clips are left? Shade the model and complete the calculations shown to show how you have the answer. So I'm going to shade, I'm going to use a highlighter. I'm going to shade 7/8 of each of the boxes of paper clips. They don't really look like paper clips, do they? All right, so 7/8 would be 7 out of 8. And then 7 out of 8 again. And 7 out of 8 again. Hopefully you can see that. So there's 1/8 not shaded in each of those circles. So how many 8s are shaded? Well, there's 7 here, and 7 here. 3 times 7 is 21. Now, if we were to rewrite this as a mixed number, because that is an improper fraction, we could divide 21 by 8, but you could also think about taking one slice here and moving it here, taking one slice here and moving it here. So now we have 2 full boxes, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 8s here. Okay, all right, number 2, Diana worked on her science project for 5 1/3 hours. I'm going to put a D here and 5 1/3. Okay, Gabe worked on his science project 1 1/4 times as long as Diana. So Diana's 5 1/3, he is 1 1/4 times as long. So is that longer or shorter than Diana? Well, if you were to multiply by 1, it would be the same. Anything greater than 1 would mean it's greater than. And then Paula worked on hers 3/4 times as long as Diana. So if Diana's 5 1/3, Paula is 3/4 of that. So that would actually be less than Diana because it's less than 1. So question A would be true. Question B would also be true. And then that's not right. That is not right. Let's try that again. Question 1 is false because Gabe worked longer. This is true, and this is false. And you just have to look at these equations to see that. Now, if you try to do this just by reading the problem, you're probably going to have some struggles. You should always write that out. Okay, so upon reading number 3 carefully, we are not going to consider it because it really is beyond 5th grade. Number 4, Franny put 2/3 of her music collection on an MP3 player. While on vacation, she listens to 3/5 of the music on the player. How much did she listen to while on vacation? Well, before I even look at these choices here, I'm going to think about 2/3 of her music, and she listened to 3/5 of 2/3, okay? So if we wanted to draw this, because it says draw a rectangular array, first we could draw the 2/3, and we would shade this amount, right? That represents 2/3. And then we're going to shade the 3/5. So we're going to do that the other direction. And so now I may use a different color here. So let's do 3/5. 1, 2, 3 out of 5. And so now we want to count how much, well, we're not going to get to that yet. So we drew 3 rows, and then we drew 5 columns, and we shaded how many of the rows? 2 of the rows, and we shaded how many of the, gray squares. Now they're really asking us how many of the gray squares turned black. That means how many got 2 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them got 2 colors. So what is 2/3 of 3/5? Well, how much do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 out of how much? There are 15. That would simplify to 2/5. Okay, on number 5, Logan bought 15 balloons. 4/5 are purple. How many of the balloons are purple? draw a model. So we need 15 balloons. I'm just going to make X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, 4/5 of them are purple, so I need to circle 4/5. I see that I have 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 rows. So 4/5 would tell us there are 4 times 4 is 16 purple. Oops, there's where you can write it. Purple balloons. Okay, model really important there. All right, Kayla walks 3 2/5 miles each day. Which of the following statements describes how far she walks? So in 4 days, 3 2/5 times 4, would that give us 14 2/5? Well, you could do the distributive property, or you can make this a fraction. I like the distributive property when one of the factors is a whole number. So 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 2/5 would be 8/5. So 8/5 is the same as 1 3/5. 13 1/5. That is not true. So now in 7 days, 3 2/5 times 7. Again, I'm going to do 3 times 7 is 21. And then 2/5 times 7 would be 14/5. 14/5 is the same as 2 4/5. Combined with 21 would be 23 4/5. That is true. Let's fill it in. 10 days, 3 2/5. 3 2/5 times 10. I would do the same thing. 3 times 10 is 30. 2/5 times 10 is 20/5, which is 4. 34, that is correct also. 31 days. 3 2/5 times 31. Well, 3 times 31 is 96. 31 times 6/5. Ugh, 62/5. 62/5. That would be 5 goes into 60 12 times with 2 left over plus the 96. Does that make sense? Hey, that does not work. So we have 2 correct answers. Number 7, write each multiplication expression in the correct box. We're looking for products that are equal to 4/5, greater than 4/5, or less than 4/5. So you probably noticed that each of these expressions has 4/5. So how do you know if it's equal to 4/5, greater than 4/5, or less than 4/5? Well, to be equal to, it would have to be multiplied by 1, right? So do we have any being multiplied by 1? This one is. So 8/8 times 4/5, that would make sense there, right? 4/5 times 2/2, because we are multiplying by a form of 1, right? Now, greater than 4/5 would mean that you multiply by something greater than 1. So here we're multiplying by greater than 1, and here we're multiplying by greater than 1. So those two would go into this box. You should write them out. I'm just giving you a quick overview. Product is less than 4/5 means the other factor must be less than 1. That is true here, and that is true here. So please don't draw arrows. Please make sure you wrote the expressions in the right box. Okay, a postcard has an area of 24 square inches. 2 enlargements of the postcards have 54 square inches and 96 square inches in each postcard. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's a lot of words there. I think I'm going to have you not worry about that problem. Okay, number 9. In 5th grade class, 4/5 of the girls have brown hair. One of the brown hair girls, 3/4 have long hair. Of the girls with brown hair, 1/3 have green eyes. What fraction of the girls have long brown hair? So 4/5 have long hair, and then 3/4 of the 4/5 have long hair. 4/5 have brown, 3/4 of them. So we could multiply this and hopefully you simplify first. That is a 1 and that is a 1, and you're left with 3/5 of the girls. Now, what fraction of the girls have long brown hair and green eyes? So we already know that the long brown hair is 3/5. And now we need to know of the girls with the long brown hair, 1/3 of them have green eyes. And again, if we swap the numerators, we would see that we have a form of 1 here, and we're left with 1/5 of the girls. Now, in terms of your explanation, you could say you found the fraction with long brown hair. And then took the part of the girls with green eyes. So there you go. Those are the correct answers, and hopefully if you didn't get them right, you better understand them now. So did you catch my computation error?